All right, guys, so today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be adding some fractions, and we want to find like units and then we want to add them. One thing I do want to tell you guys though is that when we are doing this, you really want to focus on what is that least common factor that they have in common, or least common multiple, and that is so that then you guys don't necessarily have to simplify further at the end. Sometimes it's just going to be as simple as, okay, well, I'm just going to multiply this denominator by that one by this one, so we can kind of switch that, but not all the time will it work. So the one thing you definitely want to do is you kind of want to think in your head, if I have 4 and 7, okay, so I've got 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, okay, I'm going to go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. And it just so happens that 28 is going to be that least common multiple. And when I do this, guys, I want to make sure that it is the smallest one. So when I look at this, I know that on this fraction that's 7, I'm going to multiply it by 4, because if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be 4. So I'm going to multiply that fraction by 4. And remember, what I do to the denominator, I also have to do to the numerator. And if I count this, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to multiply this one by 7. Okay, so now what I can do, I've got 7 times 3 is going to be 21, and I know my denominator is 28. And I'm going to add 1 times 4 is 4, and then my denominator is 28. And now I can very nicely add these across. 21 plus 4 is going to be 25, and my denominator is 28. So my answer is 25/28. Okay, now this one is one that I really want to talk about, because you guys could probably sit here and say, well, there's a couple of different denominators that I can come up with. But if I have 4 and 8, okay, if I count by 4, 8, 12, I'm going to stop there, because what happens, okay, I've got 8 and I've got 8. So I can leave this fraction alone because it's 1, or I could basically say like 9 times 1, 8 times 1, and it's still going to be 9/8. This fraction, I'm going to multiply it by 2, and I'm going to get 2 8s plus 9 8s, because remember, guys, I did 9 times 1, 8 times 1, because I can leave that fraction alone. I don't have to do anything. And so now I can add 2 plus 9 is going to give me 11 8s. And what I want to do here is I actually do want to turn that into a mixed number, or yes, a mixed number, because it's an improper fraction. And so to do this, I do 11 divided by 8. 8 goes into 11 one time. I'm going to subtract 8. 11 minus 8 is going to be 3. So my answer is 1 3/8. And that's how I get that mixed number with that improper fraction. Now I can check it, because remember, to check your, to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction, I multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then I add that numerator. So 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So my numerator would be 11, and then of course my denominator stays at 8. Okay. So I'm going to come over here. I've got 8 and 7. So if I've got 8 and 7, and if I count by 8s, let's go 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. Okay, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to count and see 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. I'm still going to be 49, 56. Let's keep going. So 48. Oh, there it is. So 56 is going to be that least common. So I can go ahead and look at my 8s. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one just so happens that I'm going to multiply this, and I'm going to rewrite this 3/8 times 7, and then I'm going to take that 3/7 and I'm going to multiply it by 8. So it just so happens that I'm just multiplying both of those fractions by the other numerator. or other denominator. So 3 times 7 is 21/56 plus 3 times 8 is 24/56. And if I add 21 plus 24, I get 45, right? Yep, 45/56. Alrighty. So now I'm going to move over here to that 9 and that 7. So I'm actually going to use this 7 over here. I'm not going to rewrite it, but I am going to write out my 9s and look. So I've got 9, 18, 27. Okay, nope, I don't have anything there yet. 36, 45, 54, don't have anything. 63, 72, 81. Okay, so if I come down here, 63. I think 63 is going to be that one. And if I count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it just so happens that on these two, again, I'm going to multiply the denominator, take this denominator, multiply it with that fraction, take this denominator, multiply it by that fraction. It does not always work that way, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do 4/9, and I'm going to multiply it by 7, and I'm going to add, I've got 4/7, and I'm going to multiply it by 9, okay? So then 4 times 7 is going to be 28/63 plus 4 times 9 is 36/63. And then I'm just going to come over here and add this. 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry that 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oop. I get 64/63. So I want to make sure that I put that into an improper fraction, or sorry, that is an improper fraction. I want to turn it into a mixed number. So I'm just going to do 64 divided by 63. That goes in one time. I get 1 left. So my answer is 1 1/63. Okay. Alrighty. So same thing down here. I've got 5 and 3, 5, 10, 15, 20. Now I'm going to count by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And this one again just so happens to be, I'm going to multiply this fraction by 3 and this fraction by 5. So I've got 1/5 times, I'm going to multiply this one times 3, and I'm going to add 2/3, and I'm going to multiply that by 5. So I'm going to get 3/15 plus 10/15, and 3 plus 10 is going to be 13/15. Okay, not an improper fraction, so I'm good. Here's the deal, guys, is sometimes that if you do on, let's say, for example, on this one, if you just go ahead and multiply that by each denominators, you will have to simplify. That's the reason why we want to list out these multiples so that we know exactly what we want to multiply it by. So I'm going to do 4 and 6. And when I count, I'm going to go 6, 12, 18, 24. I know eventually I'm going to get something. So 4, 8, 12. Look at that. 12 is going to be that least common multiple. So, least common multiple. So what I'm going to do is I know that this 4, I'm going to multiply this fraction by 3. And I'm going to multiply this fraction by 2 because that's how many it is. Now, if you guys would have just multiplied each of those by the denominators, you would have multiplied this one by 6 and this one by 4. Your denominator would have been 24, but then you would have been able to simplify it further. If you do something like this, that means you are skipping kind of that step and you won't have to simplify it any further because it's already going to be simplified. So 3 times 3 is 9/12. And 5 times 2 is 10/12. And I end up getting 19/12. Well, that is an improper fraction, so I do need to figure out what that is. So 12 goes into 19 one time, minus 12. I get 7 left over, and I have 7/12. So the answer is 1 7/12.